Hello! This is your host. Today, we are going to tell you a Cinderella story. It's a very old story about a young woman who goes to a party and finds her prince charming. But wait! This Cinderella isn't exactly like the others. This one is a little different. Would you like to know how? Of course you would. So let's begin. Our Cinderella was the daughter of a rich family. She lived with her mom, dad, and two older sisters in a huge house. The three of them had a lot of money, and they used it to buy all kinds of fashionable clothes. Cinderella loved spending time with her mother sewing beautiful outfits for dolls. She really wanted to be a fashion designer one day. Her father, however, wanted her to marry a prince and have children. So when she turned 18, he started looking for a husband for her. "I want my daughter to be a princess," her father told his friend, the king. "She is beautiful and has a good heart." "My son is also a good boy," said the king. "He's just a little lazy and not that smart. But a handsome face is worth more than brains, don't you think?" "Well, if you think so, then I agree," said Cinderella's father. "We will let the children decide." A few days later, Cinderella's father took her to the palace to meet the prince. They greeted each other politely, and the two families sat down to tea. "So," said the king, "how does Cinderella spend her time? Does she read books or play the piano? Perhaps take long walks in the gardens?" "Oh, no," said Cinderella's father. "She spends her time making clothes for her dolls." The king and his son were very disappointed to hear this, but they didn't want to ruin the girl's mood, so they hid their disappointment and went home. Later that week, there was to be a big party at the palace. All the eligible girls in the kingdom were invited. Cinderella begged her father to let her go, but he refused. "You will stay home and make my suit for my friend." "The king," he told her, "you can make whatever style you want. Just finish it by tomorrow evening." Cinderella spent all day thinking about what to make. Finally, she decided to create something truly spectacular for her father. She worked until late at night, but finally finished the suit just before midnight. Then she took it to her father, who was getting ready to go out. "Wow," he said when he saw the outfit. "You really are a natural. Come with me to the party. You can show everyone your work." Cinderella couldn't believe her ears. She quickly changed into a beautiful blue dress and ran after her father. When they arrived at the palace, all the eligible girls were already there. Cinderella's father proudly showed off her work, and everyone admired the beautiful suit. The king was so happy that he invited Cinderella to dance with his son. "Really?" she asked, surprised. "Of course," said the king. "Why not?" They danced the night away. And while Cinderella was dancing with the prince, she couldn't help but notice how handsome he was. He wasn't as smart as she had hoped, but he was sweet and kind and made her laugh. And by the end of the night, she found herself falling in love with him. Suddenly, the clock struck 12. Cinderella remembered that she had to get home before her stepsisters knew she was gone. She excused herself from the dance floor and ran out of the palace. She didn't want the prince to know where she lived, so she threw her glass slipper into the bushes and ran home as fast as she could. When she got home, her stepsisters were waiting for her. "Where were you?" they asked. "You were supposed to finish my dresses for the party." "Sorry," said Cinderella, "but I couldn't go to the party because I had to make your clothes." "That's a shame," said one of the stepsisters. "But don't worry. The next morning, the prince got dressed and told his advisors he was going to visit the tailor. "What?" they asked. "But you don't need a new suit. What happened to the one Cinderella made for your father?" "I want to find the girl who made it," said the prince. "I think I'm in love with her." "How will you do that?" asked one of the advisors. She threw her glass slipper into the bushes outside the palace. "What?" exclaimed the prince. "Then that's where I'm going." As soon as he arrived at the palace, he ordered the guards to search every inch of the garden for the shoe. They looked everywhere, but it was no use. The shoe was nowhere to be found. "Give up," said one of the guards. "It's no use. We will never find the shoe here." "All right," said the prince. Then we will search the entire kingdom." And that's exactly what they did. They traveled from village to village, asking if anyone had seen the shoe, but no one had. Disappointed, the prince returned home. Meanwhile, Cinderella was living her normal life. She spent her time with her animal friends, playing in the fields and riding horses. One day, while she was riding through the forest, she heard some commotion. She stopped to see what was going on and saw the prince and his advisors. "Excuse me," said Cinderella, "but what are you doing here?" "We are looking for a girl who lost her shoe," said one of the advisors. "Have you seen it?" "Yes," said Cinderella. "I found it in the bushes outside the palace. I kept it because I thought it might come in handy one day." She took the shoe out of her bag and handed it over to the advisor. He took one look at it and knew that this was the right shoe. He bowed to Cinderella and thanked her for helping them. "Don't mention it," said Cinderella. The prince walked up to her and asked, "May I buy these shoes back from you? I promise I will pay you handsomely." Cinderella blushed. She liked the prince and didn't want to sell the shoes, but she didn't know how to tell him. "Actually," she said, "I don't want to sell them. I was hoping you would help me with something else." "Anything," said the prince. "Just name it." "Well," said Cinderella, "I would like to go to the next party with you." "Really?" asked the prince. "Are you sure?" "Yes," said Cinderella. "I hope you don't mind." The prince took her hand and said, "I would be honored if you would accompany me." At the party, Cinderella and the prince danced all night long. They talked about everything under the sun, and Cinderella learned that the prince was actually quite smart. He just pretended to be stupid to avoid doing any work. "Do you like me?" he asked her. "Yes," said Cinderella. "I really like you." And that's how Cinderella found her Prince Charming. They married a year later and lived happily ever after. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, please leave us a like and subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories.